1 minute and counting. Actually, I'm not counting, but. Oh, yes. Give me 1 sec. Timer went off in my pocket. Okay, so I want to welcome everybody to this FAME webinar. I'm Calvin Leduc. I'm an instructor for FAME. I'm an instructor for the sister school, the Vancouver Animation School as well. Briefly, because I don't have a lot of time, talking about myself, I worked for over 20 years professionally as an animator. So I started off as Canadian. I went to college. I learned how to do traditional animation. I worked on a TV series called The Raccoons in Ottawa. I worked on commercials, 2 commercial houses for a year in Montreal. I went to California and worked on Alvin and the Chipmunk feature. I went to London, England to work on Who Framed Roger Rabbit for Disney and Spielberg. Went to Germany, Munich for a year, did a feature there. Spielberg invited me back to do American Tail in London, so I did that. And then I worked for a few years on commercials in Southern California. I worked for Dream Quest for a year. I worked for Rick Rich on a feature for a year. Disney invited me back. I worked there for another 10 years doing feature animation. They retrained me on the computer to become a computer animator. And I worked in San Diego for a Neopets video game. I worked on a feature down there in Southern California. And then I came up here, and I've been a teacher for almost 14 years now, on top of all my professional animation experience. I was the head of a school for 4 years. I was a contract instructor for another 4 years. I became a professor to work in the States for a couple of years. And I came back because I had been with Mario at Vancouver Animation School. I've been doing that for 7 years, teaching and curriculum development. And then a few years ago, because Vancouver Animation School is an online school for things like animation and concept art, some high school teachers came and visited and said, could you do what you do with your online school, the Vancouver Animation School, but don't have any of the live classes, just it's all recorded for high school students? And we said yes. So it took about a year to develop it and build the platform and record all the lessons to start. And and then we got FAME going. So you can go to our site, which is www.myfame.org, and you can watch this brief 2-minute video about what FAME is. You can see what it covers, because originally it was aimed for high school students. And we took the core subjects that we taught. We always taught subjects where there were jobs, and working with industry professionals. And we developed courses for high school students. So we had 3D modeling, drawing, 3D character animation, anime and manga, and concept art. And the same as our first school, we have all government accreditation. So we have the Education Quality Assurance from British Columbia. We have this private training designation. You can go check all this out yourself. So getting back to the actual School of FAME, if you're interested in, you're just going to either click here for if you're a student, a teacher, or an institution. But going into the school, you can almost think of it as, give me 1 second, a Netflix for education. I wish this existed. And I had a lot of arts and technology in the arts training when I was in school, grade school, high school, universities. But this is just really broad. And you take series of courses. So, you're interested in anatomy foundations. And, you get in there and there's going to be 11 lessons. You watch the video. Give me a second here to show some privileges. and then it's going to, request you. It's about 5 to 10 minutes on average, very brief, recorded uh, lessons, and then there'll be an assignment, and you'll upload your assignment, and the teacher will assess the assignment, and we have this great slider system for the different categories with different weights on how they're marked. And there'd always also be a comment section to give feedback. We have this great new tab called Working Files, which anything that you can't just submit as part of the assignment, you could also submit. So if you're working with hardware or software, I should say, you could actually put the scene file into the working files for your instructor to download and see. Going back to course library to kind of give you a view of some of the different topics. It takes a second for it to load in. So you can see there's all these drawings of anatomy, face, shading, and perspective, coloring. This was done by me, Intro to Maya, which is the leading 3D animation software in the world. It's free, and that's one of our prerequisites is all the software should be free for students to use, or as part of Adobe's Creative Cloud. 3D modeling, concept design for vehicles. Now, what ended up happening was grade school instructors started contacting and going, we love what you're doing for the high school students. Could you do this for grade school students? And we said yes. So going down to grade 4 and right up to the beginning of high school, we have all these courses for introductory drawing. All the principles of animation are in there. Simple drawing courses. Let me accept this person. We start getting into basic animation, walks, runs, jumps. We talked about that anime and manga course. There's training for the instructors. They can come and take an intro course to learn how to work with the software through the Vancouver Animation School as well. Our students are international, all over the world, and so we have been offering these English courses for them to learn all the terminology in English. Drawing, different styles of drawing, sketching, gestures, life drawing. It's the same thing happened with colleges and universities. The instructors and professors came to us and went, we love what you're doing with high school and grade school, but can you teach it at a more advanced level? And easily the answer for that was yes, because we are a private school, the Vancouver Animation School, and that's what we do. We teach so that the students can become professionals. So we've added all these industry softwares, such as Houdini for effects, because the industry doesn't really use Maya, where it's just push a button. It's the totally customizable software of Houdini for effects. So we have lots of courses there that are brand new that we've been developing and offering currently. Nuke for compositing. We're teaching audio for recording for dialogue. We're adding in the last year 2D animation. So it's computer 2D animation. It used to be called Flash, the software. Now it's called Adobe Animate. We went back in and we had a rigging course, which is adding controls for a computer modeled character. And we decided to add a course in front of that. And they're generally 3 modules grouped together on how to do the basics of 3D rigging. How do you build it by scratch? We're adding acting courses, Photoshop courses, internet basic courses. So I wanted to show you, and I'm just going to drag it over here. This is part of our curriculum development. So when we decide we want to do a course, we contact either one of our own instructors or a professional in the industry, and we help them to develop at least in sets of 3 modules the course. What's the different topics? And this one is for concept, which is designing almost anything. Has to be designed for animation. The characters, the backgrounds, the props. And so coming up with the different topics, what is the homework, what is the way it's graded. And we grade in 2 methods. It's a quiz and or an assignment. So there's always going to be a quiz in there as well. So you see some of our original curriculum, effects courses. This would be using Houdini. And you can see, let's see that further over. So this is effects. And then we're using Houdini expressions. And then we're using Houdini Wrangle expressions. So different types of expressions. Going for kids, 3D animation would be character animation, 3D modeling, and it's just ongoing and ongoing, guys. This is a new course called Maquette Sculpting. Those are the statues that you make for animated films, whether it's 2D, 3D, computer, hand-drawn. And I have an example here. It's a course that I'm going to start recording this week. So let's see if you can see that. I learned this from the maquette sculptors, the professionals that work. And I'm using the same techniques at the Disney studio. So let's pull in another curriculum development sheet. And this one is going to show some of the newer courses that we have currently being edited, currently that we're offering shortly, and other ones that we are in development with, which is developing the curriculum and recording. So acting for animation, we just finished recording that last week, and it's being put into the computer system, into our platform. Intro to Acting already is up and loaded. Paleontology, that's the study of dinosaur bones. We're working with a world-famous professor, Todd Marshall, to record that. Gameplay animation, that's animation for video games. So it's a different style. I come from feature animation, and there's different levels and styles. So we wanted students to learn how to do the cycles for video games. So that's been recorded. It's currently waiting to be edited by our in-house editor. Storyboarding already is finished, and I think it's uploaded, or it's going to be uploaded extremely shortly. I think it's probably just waiting for a poster, but that was recorded by a director of award-winning animated series. So we were very happy to complete the storyboarding course. Digital photography, it's an ongoing course. We figure everybody has access to phones and digital cameras, so we're doing digital photography. What else we got in here? Exterior visualization is modeling using the software 3D Studio Max. 2D animation is that program that I was telling you about, using Flash / Adobe Animate. Sound design, we currently have a sound engineer who's going to help us with recording background sounds, Foley, mixing music. The compositing we talked about, that's already up. And effects is already up. So if I go, and I'm going to pull up the site again, right here. Go all the way to the top. You know, the platform is based on our 3rd generation of Vancouver Animation School's platform for the students to use. And the great thing is it gets all the features that we've added over the years, and This is community. And so these are the instructors that are giving the courses that you can contact. These are the administrators. So usually in a school's region, there might be 3 schools or several universities, and there'll be one person that will be the administrator. And so you can contact all of those. And the best for last is every student. So there's quite a few. Every student, actually thousands now that use Fame. We started here. Those original teachers that contacted us were from Midwest in Canada. And then we expanded from across Canada to the States to Central America, South America. Now we're making pushes into Europe. Individuals can join Fame as well. It doesn't have to be through your school. But what I love is, networking is a huge part of working in the film industry. When I was in school, people of similar tastes and skill levels and likes gravitated towards each other. And those are the ones that work together. And, this networking, it lasts a lifetime, right? People I made my college film with, I worked with around the world. And we all ended up actually at Disney Feature Animation, but we're still friends. And that's what I'm assuming is going to happen with all this networking of these students, that they can see, and let's get back up there, what everyone else is doing. So you can contact each other through messages, but this Fame board is what I find exciting too. Everything that you do, and you decide the privacy amount, but every assignment gets uploaded, and then you can click and open it up and give feedback. Because here's somebody, working on one of my courses, intro, and I can write, great modeling, or give comments on, what could improve it, or anything you want to do for your critiquing, And you can, give comments on, how something can be improved. So you're getting, a lot of instructors and a lot of other students as well talking back and forth and forming these links. And it's a very small world when you come to working on projects, right? Everything can be done online today. If not, you travel, right? I've worked on some of the best films in the world, and literally it's an international crew. You're working with people from all over the world. So, and it just keeps going and going, everything that's being uploaded. Student library, we would supply starting files. We would supply assets of, here is a document you have to read, here is a piece of animation you start with, here's a model that you're going to be using. And they click on that and they go in and gain access to it and download it and use it. Questions? In case anybody asks, my favorite color is blue. Questions? Does anybody have a question? Can we answer a question? And if you think of a question later, you can go to hello@myfame.org. Not a single question. Cool. All right. So, I'm going to stay on for a few minutes. I'm not going to just bounce off and say, no questions, goodbye. But you're welcome to contact us. That's what we're here for, to answer people's questions. Has there been much interest yet for team camps? I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe someone else can answer that one for me. How much does it cost to get an annual subscription? No idea. I forget. You'd have to contact our site. I am a teacher. I don't handle the finance side. 199 US dollars per year. Okay, so you have access to it, unlimited access for 1 year. Good, very good. What I like is we do have prerequisites. You have to take, the first course and then build on top of that, and it continues your education. And you can choose different paths. When I went to school and then I wanted to do post-secondary training, you basically were just guessing. I think I might like to be an animator, and then you sign up for 3 years. But you've never animated, so how do you know? But if I had access to, I think we're at about, I know it was over 40, and I'm sure we're approaching 50 different courses at the moment. And you saw all the additional ones we're going to be doing, the animal drawing. I wanted to show you actually this briefly. This I recorded today with an instructor who is American, living in Europe, and I have the audio off, but this is animal drawing, and she's a professor. And we're doing 3 modules, starting with skeleton, then we're going to do muscles, and this is the last one, which is the actual drawing, and then coloring. And once we finish the horse, we're going to go on to dog, cat, and it's pretty much unlimited, but I inquired if she knew portraiture, which is drawing people's faces. She said yes, and I looked at some examples, which were amazing, very much like this horse is. And so we're going to get that course as well, because when I was in high school, I had 2 amazing teachers, and one was a fine art teacher, and I learned portraiture, and I did it in many different mediums, painting, drawing, pastels. So I'm really looking forward to that course. Thanks, Allie. So I'm just checking if there's any final questions before we wrap it up, guys. Final questions. I'm not certain what the question really means. Courses be used in a resume. That you took them? Yeah, you can add anything to a resume. I mean, it's part of your training, right? You want to tell people what your skills are. What kind of software do you know? What kind of abilities do you have? And you're saying a 3D modeler, but are you a modeler using Maya, or are you using Blender, which nobody uses professionally? It's important to talk about the software. And we're always using what is industry standard software, like higher education. Yes, definitely. And it's part of, for instructors as well, maintaining your training, right? Every year you have to keep retraining and learning new versions of software, or just new software, because software comes and goes. It doesn't remain forever. Companies Autodesk bought Maya, and then they bought 3D Studio Max, and then they bought Softimage, and now they don't support Softimage. So it's good to know Maya. So I'm not going to sign off when somebody's still typing. Good question. I don't know the specifics of that. I know you do get forms that state that you completed the courses and that you passed. Okay, so I think we'll wrap it up here. Thank you very much for everybody that's joined us for this webinar on FAME, and I hope to see you guys in the future. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.